Hey everyone! Thanks for checking out another episode of Wonderful Garbage. I am your host, Angela, and if it is your first time here, welcome to the garbage community. We're so happy to have you. Oh, I've missed doing this one. I took last week off because of Thanksgiving, and we were busy eating, sleeping, binging, and just wanted to spend some time with my family. So, I took a break last week. I hope everyone had a good holiday, however you chose to spend it. We went over to my aunt and uncle's house, probably about 30 of us, maybe a little more. Our family is growing and growing and growing all the time. But with that comes really, really good food. I think I said this before the episode prior to Thanksgiving. Everyone in my family can cook pretty well, and if they don't cook, they bring something that's good, or at least bring alcohol. So we always have an abundance of things. My one of my cousin's wives makes a really good charcuterie board, and she made two boards, and she always likes to buy a real honeycomb, so you're getting really good organic local legit honey. And y'all, the honeycomb is like my favorite part of the charcuterie board. But anyways, it was so good. I always make the green bean casserole. That is my specialty. I pride myself on it. I think if you can make a really good green bean casserole, you're a good cook. And then I also make this thing called a corn casserole, and it's basically just like regular corn, cream corn, Jiffy mix, an egg, and sour cream all mixed together. I'm all about the casseroles that you can just mix everything in a pot, in a pan, in a bowl, and then you just like put it to bake. That's my jam. You melt a stick of butter in the pan in the oven beforehand for the corn casserole, and then you pour the mix into that melted butter, and you kind of mix everything around so the butter is gooey, or not gooey, but the butter is like infiltrating into the mix you just made. Oh my goodness, y'all, it is delicious. And then we played Millennial Loteria. If you weren't watching football or like could still hear the football game, because we're a big Cowboys family, unfortunately. So we had to watch the Cowboys play the Giants, and they won. Oh my goodness, we beat the Giants. Stop. But then a bunch of us played Millennial Loteria, and it is my one of my favorite games to play. Loteria is basically just bingo, but like Mexican style bingo. And there's all these like different markers and different pictures. And we usually play with beans, like uncooked beans as our markers. And you bring like dollars and coins or whatever. Whoever wins like gets the pot. But my one of my cousins went out and got a bunch of stuff from Bucky's. So that was fun. And but Millennial Loteria, they have like these little Bitcoin um markers that you use as the bingo markers. And it's just so funny. Some of the things are like El Man Bun, and it's like a guy with a really bad man bun. And there's another one that's El Uber, La Student Debt, La Hashtag, El Juice Cleanse, and it's just one of my favorite games to play, and everyone got a kick out of it. I will post some pictures of the cards on my Instagram so y'all can see it, because Millennial Loteria is like my favorite thing to play. I'll also link where you can find it. My cousin got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago, but I also gifted it to another friend, so I know where to find it for you guys. Anywho, I hope you had a good start to your holiday season, or if you don't give a crap about the holidays, I hope you just had a good week. Oh, we also binged this show called The Madness on Netflix with Coleman Domingo. Y'all need to watch it. We did binge it, I think, in like a day. If not a day, then as soon as we woke up, we were like, okay, coffee, and let's finish watching the show. Coleman Domingo plays a character who gets framed for murder, and this guy happens to be like a big like white supremacist guy, and Coleman Domingo is African American. So It does not look good that he is being pinned for this murder, and it turns out it just goes really, really deep into people controlling the narrative and politics and all these things. And but it was a good show. Watch it. It's on Netflix. It's called The Madness. Also, we watched lots of football, and I realized I haven't given a fantasy football update in a bit. If you care, here you go. I am in the playoffs officially in one of my leagues. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I am playing for playoffs this week in another league. I'm tied for fourth in that one, but I have the highest points overall. I'm hoping that will come into play at some point, but I am playing for the playoffs in that second league. And then my third league is complete shit. I'm not doing great. And that sucks because in that league that I'm not doing great in, I was in the championships last year, but I forgot to set my lineup because we were on vacation. So I lost badly. So this is my redemption season, my redemption arc. If I can get into playoffs in 2 out of my 3 leagues, I call that a win. Also, I want to give a little update about my Bravo TV recaps before we get into this week's pop culture recap. I will be recapping this past week's Potomac, Beverly Hills, and Salt Lake City Housewives. Y'all, the bar mitzvah, that whole episode of Salt Lake City was just Meredith's bar mitzvah. Oh my goodness. I think it's going to go down as one of the best housewife episodes ever. It was chaotic. There were like 10 feuds, a couple makeups here and there. But y'all, like, we need to interview somebody who was at the bat mitzvah just like as a guest. I need to know the lowdown. I need to know the scoop. What a crazy ass episode. Go watch this past week's Salt Lake City Housewives. It's called Mazel Meredith. I'm not going to recap New York City anymore. And of course, the week I decide not to, we had a really powerful moment from Bryn. I'll talk about it later in the episode. But I'm going to replace New York with Southern Charm. You know, I gotta, I have like a love-hate relationship with this show. There's a lot to it. It's entertaining. They're bringing on some new people this season, so I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. But for now, I'm going to do Southern Charm recaps instead of Real Housewives of New York City. I might just talk about a couple things when I do these episodes weekly. But I'll have my Bravo TV recap for this past week's stuff out on Saturday. Alrighty. I just really miss you guys and I want to talk a lot. So let's get into our pop culture recap. Amber Heard is pregnant with her second baby. She did an interview with People magazine earlier this week. She said it is early on in the pregnancy, but she has confirmed that she is pregnant with her second child. She currently has a 3-year-old that she had via surrogacy. So congratulations to Amber Heard. We don't know, there weren't too many details in the article about like any other details about this pregnancy, but I was obsessed with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I mean, it consumed me for a moment. I was even watching court TV on YouTube and trying to make sure I could like watch all the parts, as many as possible. I'm so glad I didn't have this podcast at that time. Because I probably would have been doing like live feeds of me just like glued to the TV trying to figure out this drama. I totally would be like Charlie Day from that one It's Always Sunny episode where he's like trying to explain the conspiracy of Pepe Silva. Like that's me. I was like, okay, oh my goodness, there's all these things going on and like what's happening, and probably good I didn't have a podcast then. But anywho, congratulations to Amber Heard. And babies are fun. Okay, engagement news. Hailee Steinfield and Josh Allen are engaged. They posted about it the day after Thanksgiving, but actually the engagement had happened the week before. It was a really pretty picture. Like they were out overlooking a beach, and there was like a flower arch and all these flowers everywhere. He was down on one knee, and oh, it looked so pretty. They've been together for almost 2 years, and they actually got together a little bit after. He had a 6-year relationship with one of his childhood friends. They've like known each other for a really long time. So they dated for 6 years. They broke up, and like a month or so later, he was spotted with Hailee. So I think it's going to be hella successful because we don't know anything about their relationship. They are so private. She has been seen at some of his Bills games. If you don't know who Josh Allen is, he's the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. And Hailee Steinfield is a actress singer. So yeah, she's like been at some games. They'll post each other on Instagram here and there, but rarely, which I love that for them as much as I want to know everything about people's lives. Good for them to keep some things personal and to themselves. But yeah, I think they're going to be hella successful because we don't know too much about them. But okay, did y'all see that Josh's ex, the one that he had dated before Hailee, her Instagram apparently got hacked? So somebody commented on like a post on Instagram towards the ex and was like, "Oh, you found another play like another player to date yet?" or something like that. And she said the hacker from her account said, "Luckily my boyfriend owns a team and doesn't play for one. Don't have to be with another brain dead CTE athlete." Oh, CTE is real though. Justice for that, but damn. She said her Instagram account has been getting hacked, like since the engagement announcement was made, and that it was not her. So that's wild. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about Nick Cannon. He has come out saying that he was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Says that he doesn't fully understand what it is, but has always felt off and wanted to get tested about something or want to take a test to like see what was happening. He said he has been diagnosed with ADHD. He has dyslexia, as I tried to say the word dyslexia. Maybe I just have a lisp. He has dyslexia. I almost like could not say it again. But he felt like something else was there. I'm like, yeah, you just don't go and have like 100 kids and not think like it's a good thing, right? You're trying to just overpopulate the earth with more little yous because you think you're so great. And then I was thinking, oh my goodness, what if the Real Housewives of Orange County, Tamra Judge, and Nick Cannon did a diagnoses podcast collab and they just go back and forth on like her diagnosis of being on the spectrum, apparently, whatever, his narcissism. Like, also, I want to know how many of our Bravolebrities have narcissistic personality disorder. I'd say about 75% of them. You have to be a little narcissistic to be on these shows, right? I didn't know fully what this meant, so I Googled it, and this is what AI told me. And, you know, I don't want AI to advance because what are we to do? But it is helpful to get those quick little notes at the top of the Google page that gives you like little quick notes, like a cliff notes, of what you just Googled. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do like that. But that's as far as I want AI to go. Give me quick notes so I don't have to read a full article, and then let me make funny pictures of people. I don't want them to be too realistic. One of my coworkers was showing me this website of like people you think are real but are actually faked, and it's just AI getting different facial features and making people, and I was like, this is too much for me. I want to do silly shit with AI or like wonderful advancements in health, medical things. I don't know, but like, don't take over just yet. I still need this podcast to grow. Okay, but according to AI Google. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition that involves a person having exaggerated sense of self-importance, an excessive need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Also with AI, I did tell my boss that I want him to write my performance review with AI or like Chat GPT. I was like, can you just please put a bunch of like my characteristics in your review thing and then populate it? I was like, I'm trying to save you time. You have so many performance reviews to write. Do you mind through Chat GPT, please? I also said he could do a haiku. So just keep it short and sweet. I know I'm a good employee. Write my performance review, either Chat GPT or Haiku. Okay, anyways. Narcissistic people believe they are special, attention seeking, and they are upset by the slightest criticism. Now, I'm the only child. I was the only child for a very, very long time. And yeah, sometimes we do have an exaggerated sense of self-importance because we're the only one in the family. Like we're the only kid, you know? And I love being doted on. I was like, no, I hope I don't have this, but TBD. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make it about me. Oh my goodness, is that a characteristic? I don't know. Okay, we're moving on from here. Ashanti is pregnant again. Oh, the way I love this couple. Top 10 favorite couples of all time. I love them. Oh, okay, anyways, she's pregnant with her second child. She gave birth to their first son together back in July. They secretly got married last December, and they went right back into baby making. Oh, my heart. I'm not secretly, because I'm putting it out here on the podcast. I am just personally wanting a little baby girl for Ashanti, because, like, oh, a mini Ashanti. How wonderful do you think that is? I think it's wonderful. Also, if you're watching this on video, I know I do a lot, like I open my mouth like, and if you ever hear pauses, if you're just listening to this, it's probably because I've just opened my mouth and I'm staring at the camera like, what? Um, Anywho. Okay, so Nelly has two children of his own that are both adults, and then he takes care of his niece and nephew that are his sister's kids, but his sister passed away back in the early 2000s, so he takes care of them. He has two adult children and is starting all over again with the true love of his life, Ashanti. Oh, congratulations to all of them and to all of us for getting this love story again, right? Like Bennifer 2.0 did not work out. That was really hard for me. And now we just can focus on Ashanti and Nelly and their rekindling of love. So, Britney Spears had a birthday this week, and she posted a video on Instagram saying that, well, she posted like a couple videos, I believe, but one was saying she was calling out the paparazzi for making her look like a white Jason mask. She was like, they've always been mean to me. I don't know why they do this. They take the worst pictures of me and post them. And that is why I've moved to Mexico. And you're like, oh, okay. She also posted another video saying that she is not turning 42 or 43. She is turning 5 and that she needs to go to kindergarten now. I wish we had a time machine for her. Like there was like one person that could get a time machine. I think we could all agree that it should be Britney Spears, right? Let her go back in time. Let her take care of herself in her early 20s. Separate from the people who were controlling her. And see what kind of life she would have lived. Oh my goodness. but I do hope she's getting help. I really hope she's at some sort of wellness resort in Mexico, which honestly really does sound amazing. I was watching, we also watched Based on a True Story on Peacock, which is about podcasters who do a true crime podcast and they end up meeting a serial killer that's at large and they like dub their voices and do a podcast with the serial killer. So season 2 just came out and we were watching that over the weekend too. And the hitman guy is serial killer man is at a resort and it just looks like a mental health resort to get back on track and stop killing people. And it looks amazing. It looks relaxing. And I know it's a show, but goodness, I feel like I understand more why people go into cults or get like attracted to the cultness, especially if it's these kind of like community places where we're going to take care of each other. We're going to wear breathable linen, right? We're going to grow a garden. We're going to sing together. We're going to cry together. Oh my goodness, I love that. Just understanding why people go into cults more as I get older. But okay, back on Britney. I did do a little post on Instagram, on my Wonderful Garbage Instagram, like a little birthday tribute to her. And I grabbed a bunch of pictures from her back in the day and just took a nice little trip down memory lane. So go check that out on my Instagram. But Britney, we wish you well. We hope you're okay. I just want her, like, as much as I would miss hearing from her, I want her to not have any social media and just live her life, you know? Okay. Did y'all see the news about Elton John? Okay, so he was at the Devil Wears Prada musical, which he actually wrote the music for and gave us a little update on his health. So he had a really bad eye infection earlier this year and lost sight in his right eye. He says it's been going on for about 4 months. The sight in his left eye isn't that great either, so he's not fully blind, but he's like partially blind. He says that the doctors say it's going to get better. It just takes some time for the eye to heal, but that's rough for Elton John, you know? Like, I don't know. That's just really sad. So we hope he's doing okay. Alrighty, ending our pop culture recap this week, I want to talk about the missing woman who is now in Mexico, just living her life. I don't know, this is crazy. Okay. 30-year-old Hannah Kobayashi lived in Honolulu. She told her family she was going on a trip to New York. She's a photographer. She saved up a bunch of money. She wanted to go explore New York and take a bunch of pictures of all the art, like the big art scene in New York, you know. She didn't get on her connecting flight in LA to go to New York, and then she was sending her family a bunch of texts that they said were worrisome. She was saying that she felt scared, that she thinks someone was trying to steal her money and her identity. But the way she was texting, like the words that she was using, her family didn't think that was her. Like her texting them, like someone took her phone or something happened to her. She had also sent a text to a friend saying that she wasn't going to be able to come back home because she was tricked into giving all of her money away. So the last time her phone pinged was at LAX airport, was at the LA airport, and then all of a sudden it like turned off and they couldn't track her. They had no idea where she was at. So I'm like, was she planning to meet somebody in LA or something and then got catfished and they stole her money? Like, I don't know. So her family thinks she's missing. So believe like her dad definitely comes to LA. I can't remember if any of the other family members came to LA from Hawaii to see where she was at. But they contacted LA police and trying to see if they could help figure out what was going on. But then she was seen entering Mexico earlier this week, seemingly okay. She was alone. She had her luggage with her. She didn't seem in distress. She just crossed the border from California into Mexico. And the Mexican authorities saw her on camera. They're like, okay, she looks fine. And they didn't stop her. They're not talking to her. They're not trying to bring her in, not even like for questioning, but just kind of like, hey, your family's worried. I know you're a 30-year-old woman, but like, you said you were going to one place and now you're here. Is everything okay? Her family had also said she had talked about like getting off the grid, getting away from modern connectivity, and that some of the things that she had been posting on Instagram made it seem like, yeah, she just really wanted to get off the grid and kind of go away. As if this story couldn't get stranger and like sad, more sad. Um, her dad committed suicide in California. He was there apparently looking for the daughters, what the family was saying, and that he had either fallen or jumped from a seventh-story parking garage. Um, I couldn't find, like, footage hadn't been released for any of that, but like, what? It's weird, it's wild. Also, like, a waste of resources if she's not really missing. But yeah, she's in Mexico now, just chilling. And I hope she's okay. Like, I hope she is there voluntarily. I hope she's not being set up to, like, cross into Mexico, act all good and fine, and, like, has some other shit to do. Like, I just hope, I don't know. I don't know. But, like, if you're tired of your family, just say bye. I'm leaving you guys. Maybe there's a lot more to it and a lot more serious things going on to where she felt like she had to flee and leave. I don't know. We don't know what's going on with people, but like, what the fuck? I'm just really ready for the Dateline on this because I love Dateline. And yeah, glad she's okay, but what is happening? Okay, that's how I'm gonna end my pop culture recap because I want to get into all the Vanderpump stuff that happened last week. Yeah, so let's get into our Bravolebrity Breakdown. All right, let's start this Bravolebrity Breakdown with Vanderpump Rules news. Last week was the week for Vanderpump Rules news. It was wild, but we did get some heartbreaking news that the current Vanderpump Rules cast will not be returning for season 12. It makes total sense. I don't know how they would have all come back and tried to film together. I don't think certain people would film together. Like, Ariana's not going to film with Tom or Lala. Katie probably wouldn't want to film with Lala either. Lala probably wouldn't want to film with them. Like, I don't know. And Sheena would just film with anybody that she could. She'd get Summer Moon out there doing stuff. But it was announced last week that there will be a full reboot of Vanderpump Rules. The new season will start filming next year. They haven't announced the cast or the premiere date yet, but there have been pics posted, especially over the summer, of cameras filming in the restaurant. And then there's a SUR-related Instagram that posted a picture with a bunch of servers. So, assuming it's going to be them, but Vanderpump Rules is my favorite reality show of all time. I grew up with them. Vanderpump Rules started when I was 23, so I was prime age, like along with all of them. Some of them. But just like young adults figuring out life, going through shit, being messy as hell, partying, drinking, waking up hungover, doing it all over again. Like, I feel like we've all gone through so many things together together on that show and in my life and as adults and at the different stages and ages and things, and oh, it just sucks. But I often go back and watch Vanderpump Rules from the beginning. I just did a rewatch over the summer, so I watch it often. It's my comfort show. So for those who complain about the rebooted Real Housewives of New York, just go watch all the old seasons. I do that too. Again, the older seasons of all of our Bravo shows are great. They're some of the best. You can't redo that time and that space and where all of those Bravo celebrities were back then before they were super famous in the Bravo universe and all these Instagram accounts and fans and blah, blah, blah. Like, anyways, so all of the current cast has posted about it. There have been some really great throwback pictures and videos. So many good posts from fans on Instagram. Like, it's just all sad. We're in mourning of an iconic show. But Scandival, I mean, the ratings before Scandival weren't great. Season 8, we just don't talk about it. Is it season 8 or season 9? Oh my goodness. I swear it was 8. One of those seasons we don't talk about. I typically skip over that one in my rewatch. Scandival unfortunately did bring those ratings back up, and then they were nominated for a Creative Arts Emmy that season and in this past season as well. It just fucked with their friend group immensely. It was the biggest cheating scandal on Bravo. Right? If you're watching this on camera, I just made a think face like, huh? Yeah, I mean, I feel like it has to be. I'm trying to think, like, maybe it's about Tom on New York. Why am I blanking? Like, who else has, like, had big... Beverly Hills? The Kyle and Mo thing, it's like, okay, you guys were married for, like, 30 years. You know, you guys had a good run. Yeah, I feel like this cheating scandal's the biggest one in the Bravo universe. If I'm wrong, comment and let me know. Bravo daddy Andy did say on his Sirius XM show that in the Real Housewife of New York's case, they had 13 seasons of a show that was so beloved, so great, so iconic, and it went on, and sometimes you just... if it's like, you have to know when it's the end, right? And it was the end for RHONY at that time. It is the end for Vanderpump Rules at this time. So we are now pivoting and, you know, just gonna reboot it with a whole new cast. Ariana Madix was at the Hollywood Reporter Women in Entertainment event earlier this week because girl is booked and busy. Girl is making them coins. She said she is relieved that the show is not coming back. I posted the video of her interview with Extra TV on the red carpet. If you want to go check it out on Instagram, you can also Google it. But check it out on my Instagram and follow. And yeah, it's just, yeah, of course she's relieved. She's not forced to, and I mean, she's not forced to be continued to be in a narrative with her ex who did her dirty and people who have talked shit behind her back horribly, you know? But yeah, she's booked and busy. She's going to be a guest star on Will Trent. It's a detective show on ABC. She says she thinks that comes out in March. She was just in the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade on a peacock float, right? We're assuming she's going to be the Love Island USA host again because she did such a good job this past season. Oh, I love her. Katie Maloney then said on her podcast, just respectfully, that she wasn't going to come back to the show, even if they brought the cast back. She had talked with producers over the summer and just said, I need to move on. I'm so different from where we were 13 years ago starting this show. She's changed just mentally, emotionally, physically. She's just ready for something different. She needs to go in a new direction, and she can't continue to stay in this loop of Vanderpump Rules. So these newbies have the biggest shoes to fill. I know some people think that's Southern Hospitality, which is kind of a spin-off of Southern Charm in Charleston. Southern Hospitality, it's a group of people who work in a bar club called Republic. It's okay. It's not my fave show. I think it's good. I think they're finding their footing. This is going to be their third season, I believe. So now it's like, all right, we're building some more drama. They're all pretty chaotic, but I think they're also a little aware, too much aware of how people are going to perceive them versus Vanderpump Rules in the beginning. Those people gave no fucks. Zero fucks given. Until Stassi got like a really big head and decided to leave the show because she thought she was like too good for everybody else, and then moved to New York with that really horrible guy, and then ended up coming back to LA like groveling, like take me back, and like now she's living a great life. And just signed $1 million or 7-figure podcast deal, so go you, Stassi. But you know, Southern Hospitality comes back in January. I will watch it. I love Grace Lilly. I stan. I want her to be wonderful and chaotic and silly. But yeah, these new Vanderpumpers have big shoes to fill. We know it's not going to be the same, so we just need to accept that and move on, move forward. But these people need to be broke. They need to not want to be influencers. I would be fine if they didn't have social media and then like all of a sudden got it for the show and are like chaotic posting. They need to live in trash apartments. If you remember Tom and Kristen's apartment, which then turned into Tom and Ariana's apartment, which I also think was like Tom, and then Katie was also their roommate at one point too. Like that, and then Tom Jackson, the other Tom, like everyone had lived in that apartment. You couldn't run the microwave and the AC at the same time because the breaker would shut the other thing off, or would shut both of them off. So they need to be in that. They need to be in trash apartments. They need to be rooming with some weirdos, or like, who knows? Someone needs to be living on a futon. There needs to be at least 2 really unstable relationships in the group. Preferably, maybe someone has slept with the other one's boyfriend at some point in time, or girlfriend. I don't know. Maybe we'll see some more queer representation. But, yeah. R.I.P. to Vanderpump Rules, y'all. Oh. Again, one of my favorite reality shows. I could talk about it forever. Okay, let's talk about some happy news. Vanderpump Rules. We're going to do 2 more Vanderpump Rules stories, and then I'll move on. Kristen Doute, our mariposa, one of the OGs of Vanderpump Rules, probably one of the best reality stars, I'd say. Girl was chaotic. She's pregnant, y'all, and they announced this news the same day as the reboot. Like, Kristen announced this in the morning, and then we got news of the reboot in the afternoon, and we're like, we can't handle all of this. But she did an exclusive article with People magazine, and she's doing a little photo shoot with her bump, and she's holding one of her sonogram pictures. She says that they met, her and her fiance Luke. This is their rainbow baby. They were pregnant last year, and then she did lose it. But so this past summer, they met with a fertility specialist, and she started hormone shots and started preparing for IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. And once IUI happened, she had to wait about 2 weeks. And then she took a test and she found out she was pregnant. Oh, I am so happy for her. She is due in June, so we're going to see all of this on the upcoming season of The Valley for sure. They just had a gender reveal for Kristen and Luke last weekend, I believe, but nothing has been announced of the gender yet, so I'm assuming we're going to get that soon. But oh, I can't wait. Just the evolution of Kristen. Same thing with the evolution of Stassi, and now Stassi's a wonderful mom. I can't wait to see Kristen having a baby. It's going to be adorable. So congratulations to Kristen and Luke. Okay, last Vanderpump Rules thing. We actually found this out the day before the Vanderpump reboot and Kristen's pregnancy news, but I kept it last because it's Schwartz and Sandy. Their restaurant that caused a lot of issues between Tom Schwartz and his now ex-wife Katie Maloney is closing at the end of the year, y'all. I mean, like, we knew it was gonna happen at some point, but we didn't think it was just gonna happen this soon, you know? Ugh, but they announced that their bar is closing at the end of the year. They didn't give a specific date, but it's gonna be no more. They said the current climate for restaurant business is pretty rough. They were personally trying to recover from Scandal because that ruined support for the business when Sandoval cheated with his wonderful, beautiful girlfriend of 9 years with their best friend. Oh, I still can't believe that actually happened. Like, you can't write this shit, y'all. Technically, you could make it and write it, right? But like, metaphorically, you can't write this shit. But anywho, do y'all remember like when Scandal happened, people were leaving all these Yelp reviews on the Schwartz and Sandy's website in Yelp, or look up in Yelp, just like saying all these bad things about Tom Sandoval, and it was like ruining their business. So they never recovered from that. They said also just post-COVID, like the bar scene and restaurants are different, and it's just not happening for them. They're not profiting. But also, like, it was far from everything else. It wasn't in the city, right? It was like in a strip mall, kind of down the road, and not a lot of foot traffic. So, sucks for them. You know, they tried. Just that's how the cookie crumbles, y'all. So Katie commented on Schwartz's Instagram, I have an idea for a name of a restaurant, and it rhymes with Katie Maloney's Bar and Grill. She said, just kidding. I'm looking forward to what's next for you. So that was really sweet because, yeah, that restaurant, you know, I mean, Schwartz never put Katie first and never supported her or, like, truly supported her. Oops. I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but my armrest moved and it made a clicky sound. But, you know, he just, like, never supported her. She tried to give ideas for the bar and tried to talk to them about the name. She still came up with the best name for their bar ever. It should have been Once Upon a Tom. They're both named Tom. How fucking genius. It rolls off the tongue. Once Upon a Tom. And it really went with the psychedelic, crazy vibe, mushroom, LSD thing that they were trying to have going on, you know? So, yeah, lots of Vanderpump news last week. Holy moly. I was like, we need to stop. We need a break. We can't have this anymore. And then I saw like Lindsay Hubbard commented on something and was like, so should I just have my baby today too to like give more news? And there were a bunch of comments like, no, hold off. Us Bravo people need a break from everything that just happened. Okay, Luann. Countess Cabaret Luann, y'all. One of the OGs of our Real Housewives of New York. She said her and Hugh Grant had a heavy makeout session years ago. So she said that she was like doing an interview, or this was she did a magazine cover, and she said that she was in the Hamptons and one of her friends called her and said, hey, Hugh Grant is at this restaurant. And Luann was like, oh my goodness, like, let's go. So she took her family. They were going there for dinner. Luann called the restaurant and said, get me the table that's right next to Hugh Grant. And while they were there, Luann set up what she called Flirting 101. It involved her sitting behind Hugh Grant and casually bumping into him while pushing out her chair. And then she kept apologizing to him, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I just bump into you? Oh, my bad. Oh, my goodness." Like, okay, like, if someone was kept bumping into me, girl, that's not flirting. That's being fucking annoying, you know? But she told him, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Can I buy you a shot? Like, I'm so sorry I kept bumping into you. I feel terrible." And he said, "Okay, but you have to come have a shot with me." And she said they ended up taking shots, making out really heavily at the table. And then her brother was like, "I can't believe you're making out with Hugh Grant." And she was like, "Neither can I." So Hugh Grant took to Twitter and said, "I do remember meeting a charming Real Housewife of New York in a restaurant, but I'd like to stress it was about 15 years ago. I don't recall shots or kissing, but her memory might be better than mine." Could you imagine? I mean, I can. It's Luann. Just sucking face with Hugh Grant in the middle of a restaurant. Yeah, I can. Again, if you're watching this on video, my jaw's just open and I'm like, yeah, we can. Somebody, so like this article came out, people were posting it all online, and then somebody was like, Hallmark really needs to make a Christmas like romantic movie with Luann and Sonia going to a little small town. Oh, we're here for a show. Oh, hey, Lumberjack Joe, can you help me out? Hang this mistletoe. Am I rhyming? I'm a poet. Oh my goodness. Hire me, Hallmark. I'll write some shit for you guys. But yeah, I would love to see Sonia and Luann in a Hallmark Christmas romance movie. It's basically like Crappy Lake, but Hallmark style, you know? Also, I want Luann to flirt with me. I want to see what this flirting one-on-one is about. I've been in a relationship for a very long time, so my flirt game is not great. So maybe I need, some like pointers how to keep things spicy from Luann de Lesseps. Oh, I love Luann. I don't know. She needs to do like audiobooks or something. I could listen to her for a while. Well, kind of. Her voice has gotten very raspy. And it's all the cabaret. Alrighty, let's talk about Heather Gay's new book, Good Time Girl. It came out recently. Heather Gay's on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, if you don't know. I don't like this part. She wrote that the husband of one of the housewives, Jen Shah, who is currently in prison for a telemarketing scheme that she concocted, apparently, allegedly. She said that Jen Shah's husband tried to kiss one of their friends, Monica Garcia, who was on last season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, was apparently friends with Jen, her intern, assistant, whatever, that never got paid, that she had a bunch of dirt on Jen, was a witness in her case, I believe, or something. I don't remember anymore. My brain has blocked it out for new information, like Luann and Hugh Grant. But, like, how disgusting of Heather to just try to get, like, a clickbait article. And I guess it worked. We're sitting here fucking talking about it. But Jen's in prison. Her husband is left to take care of their children. Why are you now writing this? Like, why are you stirring up drama, stirring up shit? Monica's come out and said it's absolutely not true. I think it's in poor taste. Like, Heather had nothing else to write. This book should be about you, Heather. Your stuff. Don't be writing about this married man trying to make out with this woman. Like, I don't know. I did not like it. That's all I'm talking about Heather's book. We're not going to promote it here. Even though, I don't know, I go back and forth on Heather, but I just don't like that. Okay. Since I'm not recapping the Real Housewives of New York City in my weekly Bravo recap, I want to talk about it here. This week's episode was the engagement ballroom theme party. It looked like fun. Everyone wore all kinds of different outfits, but there were like a variety of things to wear. Like Raquel made a list of like, these are like what you can come dressed as. This is the vibe we're looking for. Of course, Jessel dressed as Madonna, because why would she not? Jenna dressed like Bryn. Raquel has one of those YSL heart jackets, which we don't know if it's the official YSL heart jacket that Bronwyn wore in the premiere of this season's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where apparently there's only 3 of them in the world. It did look a little differently made than Bronwyn's. Because, right, Bronwyn was like, it's me, Rihanna, and one's in a museum. There's only 3 of them in the world. And then Raquel wears one. Erin and her husband Abe decided to like gender switch, and Abe dressed as Erin, but Erin dressed Abe horribly. Erin dressed him as like Mrs. Doubtfire almost. And Abe even said in a confessional, he's like, I would have dressed myself like a little sexier for this. And then Erin dressed like a man. She dressed like Abe. Uba looked great. I'm trying to think who else. Oh my goodness, why am I blanking on that? Oh, Sai. No, Sai wasn't there. Sai wasn't there because she karate chopped glass with her foot and now has glass in her foot, like close to her bones. So like her foot's fucked. So she didn't go. But it was cute, like, you know, it was like fun silliness, and their engagement party was sweet. And Raquel's fiance Mel gave a really sweet speech of being a part of Raquel's family and loving her children as her own and just so happy to be with them. And so that was a really sweet moment. But we get a really vulnerable moment from Bryn. Bryn is writing a book. So she's meeting with someone to talk about it, and she opens up about being sexually assaulted. And, you know, we had no idea of this before. So thank you, Bryn, for opening and sharing. I know Bryn is not a lot of people's favorites, but we can still have compassion for people that we are not fond of, especially when it comes to something like this. So she says that, you know, I always joke that I'm not in a relationship because there's not enough billionaires in the world, but she's still reeling from the incident and she's not over it. And like, you can never, like, it's just, like, it stays with you, right? Like, it's not something you can, I guess you can get over it in a sense, or you learn how to cope with the things that have happened, you know, to you. And so she just says hasn't been feeling like she can do that because she still has a lot of trauma from it, and she didn't think it would happen to her, and she felt ashamed. And, you know, I think just the way that she acts, yes, she did say that her grandma would tell her, like, it's good to be flirty, it's good to do this, it's good to be like the fun, silly girl that will help get attention and things like that. But I think also now learning that she's been sexually assaulted, you know, I think that's just a defense mechanism for her, right? Like she just pretends that she's like the good fun girl, because then if they really get to know me, right, then they are gonna know what happened to me and like learn more about that trauma in my life. And so just thank you, Bryn, for sharing that. Again, we can have compassion for people that we are not necessarily fans of, because sexual assault happens a lot and you don't know who has experienced this or people that you like. It's a lot. So, but thank you, Bryn, for sharing that. She was on Watch What Happens Live this week with Kathy Hilton. Kathy Hilton still does not know how to play games on Watch What Happens Live. She was supposed to do a like guess what's in my bag game, and Bryn was supposed to like guess, and Kathy was supposed to describe what it was, and Kathy was just like telling her the things. Andy asked about her baby plans, because we saw that Bryn's ex-fiance said, sure, I'll give you some sperm for us to make an embryo so you can have a baby. She says that those plans are on hold, not really happening right now. I guess Gideon is in real estate and works for the agency, which is the real estate company that Mauricio owns on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, who happens to be Kyle's sister. And there's drama with Mauricio and the Hiltons, and then Bryn was there with the Hilton. Wild. Okay, I also want to talk about Mary was on Watch What Happens Live this week. She was on it yesterday, because I record these on Thursdays to put out on Fridays. So she was on yesterday. And she gave us an update on her son, Robert Jr., which was really hoping we would get. And if you didn't see last week's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode, Mary had a very difficult conversation with her son regarding his substance abuse. She just knew something was going on with him, and she tried to ignore it, and it was getting worse, so she decided to have a conversation with him. She said that she told him he knew that they were going to film, and she said, we need to have this conversation on air so it can help other people who are going through addiction. And he was like, yeah, all right, let's do it. So we learned that he's been addicted to Oxycontin. He had first started out, he said, taking like medical stuff. Natural things. And then was given Oxy. He really liked it and has been taking it for years. He started at 16 and he's now 21. And then he started mixing it with things. He was taking Oxy with Molly and acid and cocaine. There was a point where he was taking 30 milligrams a day and not feeling it. And it was just a raw moment. Like, if you didn't watch it, you should go back and watch it. You can, I'm sure the clip's on YouTube. I can post it to my Instagram too, but she's just like, something is going on and I need to know. And I love you regardless, but we need to figure this out, like, or otherwise you're gonna die. And he says, like, there were times where I wanted to die, and he tells Mary that she was the reason that he hadn't committed suicide. And oh my goodness, I mean, the episode, it's really, really raw. And one thing I love about the Housewives is, yeah, like, it's silly, petty shit, but then we do get these really raw, vulnerable moments. We had it with Bryn talking about her assault, and now we have it with Mary, and then we had it with with Aaron and Jenna and their abortion stories. And okay, so anyways, Mary was on Watch What Happens Live. She said that Robert Jr. went to rehab. He was there for a month. He completed the program, came out a new person, and that he's doing good. His wife went in there too, because Robert got married, I believe last year, did not tell Mary. Mary heard about it and then asked him later on, hey, did you get married? And he said, yeah. And she started crying because that's her only child, and not being able to have a wedding for him or not knowing that he got married, you know, it was really, really hard on her. So I'm glad to know that he's doing okay. I did read something, though, that... So he was supposed to show proof of, I think I read this on Yahoo. He was supposed to show proof that he completed his program or provide like a drug test sample to just check him to see if he was clean. I read that he wasn't able to do either or. So I don't know what all of that is about, you know? And then I read that he has to go back to court in January since they couldn't confirm the rehab program. I don't know. It was weird. I hope that's not the case, but you know, addiction is just a horrible disease, and getting out of it just, you know, like, feels impossible. And So I just hope he's surrounded by people who support him in his recovery and find ways to spend his time keeping himself busy, because he wasn't doing anything. Like, Mary was like, you're wasting the day away. You guys are just like vegged out in the bed, eating, sleeping till 1 p.m. Like, what is happening, you know? So I hope he's doing okay, and it was really rough, but I'm glad to hear that, you know, he completed the program for sure. Also, sold on SLC, the Salt Lake City reality show premiered last night after Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I was like taking a bunch of notes on the show and trying to put some posts together. So I didn't get to watch the Sold on SLC, but I am going to watch it. I'll let you guys know what I think. I'm not going to recap it just because, you know, but I will talk about it. I'm going to let you guys know what I like and who I like. But that is it. That's all the garbage talk for now, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If this is your first time, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for tuning in. These pop culture recaps and Bravolebrity breakdowns come out every Friday, and then I have my weekly TV Bravo recaps that come out after that. Please follow, comment, subscribe, like, wherever you are listening to this. Let me know what you think. You can comment on Spotify. You can comment on YouTube if you're watching it there. And then follow me on social media, please. Everyone's leaving Twitter, so now I only have like 20 followers. It's so sad. I also created a Blue Sky account, but that's still growing also. So if you have Blue Sky or Twitter, please follow me at Wonderful Garbage. On Twitter, it's at Wonderful Garb. And then follow me on Instagram, please. Check me out on TikTok if you have it. But thanks again for listening. I hope this brightened your day or helped you get through the day and all that good stuff. All right, y'all. Until next time.